Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the regular council meeting of Monday, April 22nd, 2022. You can be in the council chambers, for these meetings, and also via Zoom, which will be posted to the city's YouTube site. First item on the agenda is adoption of the agenda, and the recommendation is that the agenda for the regular council meeting be adopted. Councilor Martin and Councilor Hanson, all those in favor? Thank you, carried unanimously. The adoption of the minutes, we have two sets of minutes tonight. We have the Governance and Operations Committee meeting of April 8th, and the regular council meeting of April 8th, 2024. The recommendation is that the minutes of the Governance and Operations Committee meeting and the regular council meeting, both held on April 8th, 2024, be adopted as circulated. Councilor Wilson, thank you, and Councilor Cashel, thank you. All those in favor? Carried unanimously. The next item on the agenda is item number 3, and that is the public question period. Is there anyone here for public question period? I am.
Is that us? I don't
Sure, you just have to come up to the podium and state your name and your address.
Okay, Colleen, you said 2022.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I always do something like that. So it is April 22nd, 2024. Thanks, Vivian.
Yep. My name is Penny Ryan, and I live at 2103 Daniel Street.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, I can go ahead, right now? All right, so just on the statement, I want to be really clear that nothing that I'm saying is a complaint about the necessary upgrades or complaints about the inevitable misery of 6 months of road construction. I know that's necessary and it's going to suck, and I'm not complaining about that at all. I'm addressing the issues that could have been avoided and the ones that I hope to change moving forward. The first thing that happened to the residents of Daniel Street was we had very short notice for the Daniel Street realignment project, and this negatively affected the community in the following ways. Because we had less than 2 weeks notice, it meant that residents had very little time to find alternate parking or transportation. They had no time to prepare for the dust or the noise if they're sensitive to either of those things. They had no time to protect their property. We have these like rickety rock walls, and people's garages are like, you know, half falling down. And with the vibration and everything, if we'd had more time, people could have taken steps to mitigate the damage that they may get. And also for the residents to mobilize to work on solutions for any of these problems. The second thing was there was no consultation, and this affected the community in the following ways. The residents were left out of the design of their neighborhood. There were changes being made to our street that we had absolutely no input on. You know, we're the ones who live there. We know how the street, we're the matter of experts in this. And there was no consultation, so you didn't get our input into any of that.
Sorry, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you.
Okay.
You know what, we do have your letter in front of us. And we all got it this evening.
Okay.
And we have read it.
Okay.
And just for, you know.
Okay, yeah, and I don't, yeah.
Is there any questions that you have for us?
The question,
It is quite public question period.
yeah, the real question that I have is the rock wall. So we were told that there were no engineers willing to sign off on the wall and no way to rebuild it. And so if this is true, and there's no way to save our wall, are all the walls in Trail eventually going to be replaced with decorated concrete? That's my question.
You know what, that's a good question. I do know that there was a lot of consideration and time put in to the history of the walls, and when they were looking at how they were going to replace them, they knew that it was important to try and match it up as best as they could.
So is the answer yes, they all will be replaced with?
Eventually, I guess so, you know, right now we're focused on this wall because it's the one that is a priority for us. And we have been looking at that wall since, I wanna say before, well, during my first term. And then it became a real problem in 2024, we noticed that it was deteriorating even more. So, and this is what they had come up with.
So the answer would be yes, eventually all the walls and trail will be replaced with decorated concrete?
What I can say, and a couple things that, Andy, if I could, just thank you for your letter.
Yes.
And we recognize that we don't always get it right as local government, so we do appreciate comments and we will certainly take them under advisement for future projects and try to make sure that we do a better job of communicating and trying to eliminate some of the concerns that have been raised here. So thank you for that, first of all.
Go ahead.
Yes, and so what the city does do is that we do have some software, and we do have, it's quite fascinating in its own way, but it almost does sort of the review of the wall, and kind of points out where it is, and then we have it redone every couple of years to see whether or not things are moving. And so those would be sort of our steps of trying to get that first-hand alert of something not going well, or something that is not, could be a failure, and so that's where we would focus on problem wall. We know that many of the walls continue to stand as they have for quite a while. So again, with the thought process there is that if we were to run into one, is it something that can just be fixed? Or is it something that may have, like this particular one on Daniel Street, where you had a lot of infrastructure that was really old. It causes a lot of its own issues, especially with water in the area, especially water in West Trail in itself coming out of the mountain, and being able to contain that storm water, upgrade the water system, upgrade the sanitary sewer, which really made this into a much larger project than just trying to deal with where we had a failure in that wall. So this project kind of expanded a lot further than some others would. I would suggest to you that likely many of the other walls that we have in the community don't have that same, I'm not saying all, but don't likely have that same linkage to all of the other underground utilities that would need to be dealt with, as well as just dealing with the wall. If you were just dealing with the wall, I sense that there, and again, I know that the community and the city workers as well are proud of what the walls that we have here. We would want to work towards making sure that we restore, maintain these walls as best as we can. But there can come an instance, much like this one, where you get to a place where it's too much to be able to take out that whole area, redo all of that infrastructure, and then have to come back and deal with the rubble in that way. So I understand that it's not satisfactory in some ways for how this particular long stretch of wall is going to be taken care of, but I think it is the best approach. And the city becomes very liable when you do have a failure in a certain area of a wall, and then you don't do the remediation that's necessary. Something else happens, rock falls down, hits someone's car, injures somebody. The city's in a big way, and in a lot of, very risky. So this is a much larger project than I think some of the others, but I don't know if that maybe doesn't answer all of your
It
questions.
does, because it's like you're gonna assess the walls, monitor them, and do it case by case, and if it's repairable, repair it.
Right.
So not
Yes,
event,
the goal
not
is
just
that.
let them deteriorate and then replace them.
Correct, so we are monitoring them, and it is a big job. There's a lot of these walls, they hold up a lot of valuable real estate in them.
And I'm sorry, I just have one more quick question, which is, we haven't been told anything about the transit service in our community.
Right.
And we would like to have information about that, if some communication about that.
Yeah, and certainly we can commit on that. It is one of those interesting ones where, as far as the city goes, it runs through our community, but we're also part of a regional part of on the transit service, so we can certainly find out about that and get that fed back.
Yeah, I mean, somebody can tell us if the buses are coming or not, so that would be helpful.
Yes, certainly.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Ken. Is there any other questions this evening?
I have a question.
Sure, just a minute, I mean, we have someone coming out.
Okay, my name is Wilcondi Seymour, I live up on Nelson Avenue, which is up in West Trail. I'm just wondering, is there any plans to sweep the streets up there? There's like that much, and riding down Glover Hill on a bike, you're asking to end up getting hit because somebody's gonna slip on the dirt because it's that wide. The other thing, could we possibly get a speed limit sign on Nelson Avenue? We have little kids running around. We've asked in the past, and I really think it would be nice to see speed signs. Not here, that it's not this part in Sunningdale or that, because I know there are speed signs in Sunningdale. So maybe it'd be nice to see some in West Trail. And also, if you're looking at fixing things up even temporarily, what about fixing those railings on Glover? The wood you guys stuck up about 7 years ago is actually starting to deteriorate now. So that's just what I've got to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
May your worship.
Pardon
If I
me?
may?
Yes,
So
please.
we did have a breakdown of our scooper. It is a heavily used piece of equipment, but usually only certain times of the year that we use a sweeper. And we did have a breakdown, so it is currently under repair. And so that'll be one of the reasons why some of these high priority areas of having the street sweep has not been done. It's not because we don't want to, but it's because our main piece of equipment has failed currently and it's under repair.
Can I ask a follow-up question to that?
Sure, yeah, you just gotta come up, state your name and address, please.
Denise Leonard, Carnation, Trail BC. The street sweepers being repaired, is there an estimated time on how long it's gonna be in for repairs?
I don't have an update for you right now on that, but it's again, it's a very common in many municipalities, the street sweeper is abused in the sense of trying to pick up all the dirt and the different sweeper bars that come out of it. It's not uncommon for it to go down.
I'm sorry, I think I
Of
need,
course.
yeah, a question.
I think
You'll have to excuse me, my hearing aids have lost all the juice. I wished I'd have had a chance to hear everything you had to say, I heard nothing. Probably a good thing. So,
So can I just get you this, I know
Yeah.
who you are and where you live, but
okay, my name is Eileen Peterson,
Thank
I live at 1454 Nielsen Street, up the hillside. Greetings. Mayor Jones, council members, staff. Thank you sincerely, first of all, for this opportunity to speak to the Daniel Street rock wall. We are very appreciative. And I want to say, I really didn't want to be here doing this. Not at all. But I want to just begin with a brief history of our rock wall.
it's public question period. And we have all your information that you've given us.
No, you don't.
Okay.
You have
Do
an outline. I was given time to make a presentation, and that's why I'm here.
Okay,
That's what I asked for.
okay.
That's what I was
Because-
granted.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to be difficult, I know that you're very passionate about this, but unfortunately, this is public question period. It's
So should I
not-
wait till public question is over and then have my turn?
Well, I think because you are asking or requesting more time, that you should request to be a delegation.
I requested to make a presentation. And I was told I could make a presentation.
Okay.
And today I gave an outline of what my presentation was gonna be about. And I have prepared, I have some interesting information here.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so sorry about the confusion.
I'm
clear on what I
I'm
asked,
sorry, because,
Yeah,
yes,
for sure.
okay,
I get it,
so we can give
So I
you
won't
5
take up
minutes
too much of your
tonight,
time.
okay?
okay?
Okay, thank you.
All
I'm
right.
interested in hearing what you have to say, honestly, I am. I just wanted to make sure I was following proper procedure.
Right,
Okay.
got it, okay,
Okay,
thanks.
let's go.
Okay, so we started our project recording the history of the walls in 2002. We did raise a lot of awareness all over Columbia Basin, BC, other parts of Canada and the world. We gathered information, we researched, we measured walls, we had a community celebration, we had a website, community events, people came. they were interested. We were published in Canadian Gardening Magazine and the Beaver and other publications. We got funding from Italian clubs, individuals, T-shirts and card sales, Trail City Arts Council, Columbia Basin Trust. We were the first major project funding to receive $9,000, the first ones. We even got federal money to hire 4 workers. City of Trail helped us, Tech Cominco helped us, and we helped put Trail on the map. So, I hate to say this, but there is a rumor that, Trail is becoming somewhat aware, known for tearing down some heritage structures. And albeit, there's heritage homes and the signage and buildings, and we appreciate that. So we just don't want this to continue. So someone has already spoken to, and you've received that information about the impact on residents and stuff. And me, who, and our group who's been involved with rock wall since 2002, found out April 7th, this wall was coming down. So there was some confusing information that I wanted to address. I spoke with the project manager of Mar West, and he told me there were no stonemasons to be found. This has been in the planning stages for 3 years. The wall will be replaced with concrete blocks with stone etchings, and that Fortis was going to change power poles and wanted to move them. I spoke to our Chief Administrative Officer, Colin McClure, who graciously gave me an outline of the costs, excluding the power poles, I think. And I understood from him that it was 2 years in the working. And days later, I found out someone had talked to Ben Bresley Jones, who said it was an emergency to get it done as soon as possible. So, I don't know which one is true, and really, it doesn't matter. The other thing he said was there are no engineers to be found to sign off on the rock walls. Well, this particular wall, to the best of our knowledge, is a depression era wall. It's been around about 100 years. And so there's, of course, the old part which collapsed, and which 10 years previous, residents had been contacting the city council at the time to fix it, and it never got done. So, and I get that contractor's been hired and they just want to get at it and get it done. I understand that, we're not sure that people who live there and people who deeply care about our heritage are actually being considered in this. I want to say that I found local stonemasons in 2 days. I found lots of them. That's number one. I believe that this project is doable with stone. Jeff, is it doable?
Yes.
It's doable.
Providing engineers sign off, you have to find, there are people who do sign off on them. There are people who do that.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I would, and would maintain the character, the art, the inherent love of the rock, the legacy left for us, and gaining respect all over the Columbia Basin for this city that we all love so much. Engineers, no engineers to be found. All it takes is you look in the phone book, you Google it. There's engineers all over the Kootenays. Of course you make a request and they will fill that request and they will look and see what's needed and whatever else they do. So yes, there are engineers, and I know of one that happens to have signed off on many, many rock walls in this area, and he's still living with us. He's still among us, and he's still doing that work. So being omitted from the discussions, I was terribly disheartened to hear, like a mere 2 weeks ago, that this was happening. Now, this isn't about me. It's not, oh, you didn't consult Eileen. No, it's that the respect for, the people who care about this stuff and all the people who have worked so hard and the people around the basin. Really, people really care about this stuff. And you know, it's inherently about our heritage and people all over the Trail Basin who love the rock walls. So that's the point I wanted to make, and also the value of collaboration. You know how this works as public officials. I'm not telling anything new. Ideas get shared, transparency occurs, best solutions that are chosen that best meets people's needs and what they care about, you know, I mean, I get it, you know, there's some things you gotta expedite, but there's some things that can maybe do with a little bit more time. And there are stonemasons around who can do the work, and yeah, it's gonna take a couple extra weeks, maybe 4 weeks, I don't know, but there are people here who love to do that work and will do it. And I just really believe, and I think people who are here with me today also believe that it would be a great thing if we could take a pause and have a look and get together and chat, have a conversation. The thing with the dry walls, as you all know probably, is that the dry rock walls are inherently spacious. They drain the water naturally. And the cost of, you know, having, I don't know what the cost is, but I'm just saying, the cost of having to put in drainage and work it around, you know, concrete blocks and so on. You know, there's ways you can do this for like basically the same cost. I was told that. So that's what I want to do is have a conversation about it with people who are the interested parties who are all involved, with, you know, a stonemason, an engineer that, you know, I have a little bit of access to, I think. I was gonna show you all that stuff. I wasn't gonna show it all to you, but I was gonna show you that, like, from 2002 to 2009, you know, we've got a book full of stuff here. You guys are welcome to have a look at it. Would anybody like to take it? I mean, you can have it overnight or for a couple of weeks or.
Are you first in line on that one?
Just make sure you get it back.
Yeah, I'll give you my name and phone number.
Okay.
I'll take a look at that.
You've all, I don't know if you've seen the book, this is
Yes,
what
I
the book
have
looks
the
like.
books.
It's, yeah, so that's all, you know, look at this, now, I mean, how striking is that? This is an old one, it doesn't matter, you know? And thank you for having our rock wall, walking tour brochures available. I was gonna bring some down for each of you and I forgot. Just in case you don't have one, you know, but anyway. So thanks, and really, will you meet with us? That's my question. Will we have a meeting where we can discuss this?
Okay, that's the question.
On this particular wall, or just about?
On this particular wall,
At this stage, I would say the council has signed a contract that we are committed to, and we will follow that through to the end of this project. I can see the ability to engage, and I think we've got lots to learn from what's happened here, and again, I'm certainly happy to sit down and talk with people about future types of projects, but for this one here, I feel that we, in good faith, signed off on that. There was some expediency with this particular wall in the sense that when you talk about waiting, just even the cost of this project, and as you and I discussed, Rockwall is only a portion of this project. There's a lot more utility work also.
what was that last part again?
Utility work is also going on. So this project in itself has gone up exponentially even from when we first tried to get in front of it last year, that's why it got pushed into the spring of 2024. Understanding that the engineered wall that's now in place, the replacement no post block one, is only certified for this year, so we have to get the work done this year, we can't have any delay. We awarded and council was committed through that and legally binding to have this contract done. But I certainly am willing to meet with your rock group, and as the Penny was speaking about, you know, if there's other places that we get to that we start to see a deterioration, we wanna work towards what is the best solution, that we can come together on that, that certainly makes sense to me.
So, I guess you could call this a follow-up question. So, given the contract is in place, given that, there is a stonemason who has had a lot of experience, who can actually rebuild that with stone, and for probably about the same cost as the existing contract, may take a wee bit longer, 2 weeks. Can we not discuss that, just talk about it, so at least we feel heard?
Well,
I mean, we're here,
yes,
yeah, but I mean, with,
but I also would wanna be disrespectful to hearing you, but knowing that we have a contract in place to do the work. I don't wanna disrespect the fact that you're here and me giving you a sense of listening to you that we would change that. That would be my concern. I have no problem meeting with you and discussing it, but the contractor has a plan. They've ordered the blocks, they've done the work that needs to be, to get in preparation for this particular project. So I wouldn't wanna misguide you on, again, I'm happy to meet with you and to discuss these sorts of things, but as far as this project, we are moving forward as it is.
well, I understand, and maybe the contractor who's not here would be willing to maintain the contract, but also move some money around. And yeah, that's all, anything's possible,
Anything is possible.
anything's
I also
possible.
know that we did not get a lot of interest in this project. And I-
Sorry?
We did not get a lot of interest from contractors who could do this work. So I feel very confident that what we have here and what has been gone through the engineers and the party that are overseeing it and the company that's doing it, I feel confident in the work that we're doing and the role, the position that we're taking on getting this particular project.
Well, I am not happy with that answer one bit.
I respect that.
So Eileen,
Yeah.
Eileen, before you leave, could I just offer this to you, please? Because I know how passionate you are about the rock walls. And I know, I listened to your interview on CBC. I heard what you said. You said that 10 years ago, you noticed that the wall was starting to fall apart, right? So I know that you're looking out for the walls. So this wall, I don't believe we can change the direction that we're going in. But I would love to sit down with you as well and talk about the other walls before they get in the state that this one is. Like this one is, it's too far gone now. It's too far gone. We have to replace the infrastructure, as Mr. McClure said. There's the lighting, there's a lot we have to do. And let's look at the future of the walls that are still in place.
Definitely, let's do
Okay.
that. And
Yes,
anything is possible where there is a will.
yes.
Here's some petitions.
Thank you.
Thank
leave those
you,
with me, Ms.
Eileen,
Peterson.
I appreciate your passion about this.
It's not just about me.
I know, it's you and your
Okay.
neighbors.
I'm just the mouthpiece, as I said to Sam.
Thank you very much. Councillor Cashel.
Can I speak to this, Chair? Mayor Jones, briefly?
Sure.
Thank you, Ms. Peterson, for your presentation.
Are you talking to me now? Siobhan?
Yes, I am, all right. Yeah, you can have a seat. Basically, in honor of the rock masons that have built these walls and recognition of the importance of these rock walls to the city of Trail. Okay, they are a huge part of our heritage. I'd like to make a motion, just a general motion, saying that going forward, city staff explore all available measures and options to preserve the wall or to replace the existing rock That's basically my motion going forward. I don't think, and I'm getting off track now with my motion, that we can probably do much with this existing contract. That is a legal binding matter that's CAO Montour has already spoken to. But I think going forward, there's lessons learned here. Your information is super valuable, and I think we can make a motion, if it's the will of council,
Yeah.
to really pause it, explore it, and preserve the wall at all, if it's possible. That's my motion.
Councillor Cashel, please. Could we receive this presentation for information? And then once we have our meetings with Eileen, maybe we can bring back a motion that would be more aggressive.
Well, I'm happy with my motion as it stands. I'm prepared to put it on the floor.
I'll second it. Okay. Is there any questions or comments before we put a motion, take the,
Just from me, I think it's a really good lesson in terms of change management to ensure that stakeholders from all areas get approached. And I think maybe one area that can sometimes be missed out on is the heritage aspect of it, so just I think I agree with Nick, sorry, I'm not speaking loud.
That's
I agree with Nick's motion, and I thank you for coming. I thank you for being persistent yet extremely respectful, and yeah.
Thank you.
I second it.
okay. So there is a motion. I'm sorry, I didn't capture all of it. Do we need to read it back or just before we move forward?
That city staff be directed, when moving forward with, replacement of rock walls, that all available options to save the rock walls prior to any future replacement be considered.
Thank you, Ms. Buss. Okay, all those in favor of the motion? Carried. Thank you, Jen. Okay, is there anyone else here for public question period? Okay?
Go ahead. I just have a question about that contract. Denise Leonard from Carnation Trail. Isn't there an out clause in the contract? The contracts, that the city engages in, have out clauses?
Again, if you were talking about, providing a service, for example, if someone was providing you with consulting services, I could see there being an ability to then pre-contract in 60 days or something like that, but when you have a project that's contracted out, then it's not usually an out clause.
So you're saying, no, this particular
Well,
contract does not
Right.
have an out clause?
Yeah, we have a contract that they are hold to as far as timelines and costs. The change orders and things like that happen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi there, my name is John Peace, I live at 2103 Daniel Street. Got a few questions all over the place. First one was, what type of environmental study was done before they started construction? And the reason I'm asking is, our neighbor is really concerned about the birds that are nesting in those walls right now. Did anybody take into consideration that?
I do not have an answer for you as far as that question.
Well, shouldn't you do an environmental assessment before you start on the project?
Well, I think it would be determined by what project you're doing, and we're dealing with regular construction. It's not something that I've seen very often to have an environmental assessment for birds.
But also, what about the soil? Is there any,
I would say that we have,
don't you think you should?
again, I think that we've gone through the regular process. We use the engineering firms to look at what needs to be required by the laws. I mean, that's my expectation, is that we would be following what would be normal expected construction practices when we do our RFPs and put them out together.
Yeah, speaking of, was this a really short time frame for the contract or standard?
No, I don't believe so. It's just regular.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, I'm worried about what you're gonna dig up when, because it's, let's face it, it's trail, it's had a lot of pollution in that. all of a sudden, 5 years from now, every kid's got cancer. Now, I'm not saying it will happen or anything else, we don't know what's in that ground.
Dust.
You got a lot of stuff that's gonna be floating around. So that's why I'm asking about the environmental assessment. How is our water gonna be affected?
Well, again, I would expect that the same pipes that are carrying the treated water that have going to your homes have to be the same pipes, newer, but there will be the same water being carried to your home as it currently is.
Okay, that's all, the only thing I wanted to know.
Thank you. Okay, is there anyone else, that's any question?
I have one related question.
Okay,
If these rocks are all gonna fall, where will they go? Number one. Number two, can we talk about that, where they're gonna go and what can be done with some of those walls? Because in talking to some of the one of the stonemasons that I spoke to, he had some really good ideas on what we could do with especially this rock that faces out, that has been drilled and chipped and split and lifted and put in place with all these guys. So that was two things. Where are they going, and can we talk about what we can do with the rock? So we have a place to, come on the rock. That's
So,
not
I mean,
really
would
the
you-
right word, but you know
would
what I
you
mean?
be okay if we put that on the agenda for our first meeting?
Like, what is that?
Those two questions, where are the rocks going and what's happening with them?
And no, well, I wanna know if we can share some ideas of what to do with them. That was the big question. Can you tell me when the meeting is that you're talking about?
You know what, I'll let you know as soon as possible. Don't have my agenda in front of me, Mr. McClure doesn't have his, so.
Okay, well, you might be happy to know that I am leaving on holidays soon, and I am staying behind in order to be here.
Okay, I'll get in touch, I'll get in touch with you tomorrow, okay?
Okay.
But
Thank
just
you.
before we do, your worship, I need to know that we have looked at how we can repurpose the rocks. We have a couple of other projects, maybe not in a rock wall form, but we were doing some testing on the rocks themselves to see whether or not they may be able to be used in some other areas where we need it.
What are those, what are those?
We've got some work looking at for dealing with a holding pond for the distributed water from the water treatment plant, and having that being able to have a place that it would wash over before it would go into the Columbia. So we have to do some testing on the rock on whether or not the rock would be allowable, whether or not it having water run over it results in contamination to the Columbia. So we have testing being done on the rock right
So, and when is this scheduled to fall?
now. That I'm not fully versed on what the.
Not part of the contract?
Well, that's.
Timeline?
Yeah, I'm not familiar with these.
So we can put that on our Facebook page too, the City of Trail Facebook page. We have been communicating about a rock wall on there as well. So I would just keep checking back on that, and it will keep you up to date on that.
So I should join that page?
The City of Trail?
Yeah.
Sure.
And Instagram.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a Facebook page?
Yes,
Yeah.
okay.
Good.
Thank you. Okay, if there's no other questions, we'll move on with the agenda.
I have one question. I'm Vivian, I live in Fruitvale, but I grew up in Trail for 25 years. My question to Colin is, please, for infrastructure, you keep referring to the infrastructure that needs to be done up on Daniel Street. So whether or not there was infrastructure work, whether or not it was a concrete block wall or the rock wall that it is now,
what does that have to do with tearing down the wall to fix the infrastructure underneath the road from the water that's coming down, like? Do you know what I mean?
Well, I think that when they looked at not just the wall being needing to be replaced, is the fact that we have whole infrastructure that's underneath the road in that area. And so to be able to, it's not an easy thing because you've got that significant drop off down to the next layer of where the homes are. So being able to pull back and being able to have even a strong structure for the rock overload or the block overload to replace it with, all of that material needs to be dealt with, and we need to deal with the infrastructure that's underneath there. So I mean, obviously it's gonna be a significant project. So I'm not sure when.
Well, I suppose, because Eileen was talking about the rock wall and keeping it standing, and then it kind of got turned into the infrastructure talk about what's going on underneath. So I don't know that I don't know how the infrastructure underneath, maybe it was the infrastructure underneath that is causing the rock wall to deteriorate kind of thing. So if that was, fixed.
Yeah, well, and quite possibly, when we
First.
have a lot of water, well, again, we have to get in there first, right, to be able to deal with, mostly the stormwater is what, the surface runoff water is what we need to deal with in that area. So that's one of the major parts of this project is to deal with the stormwater component of it,
Right.
let alone sanitary sewer and the water replacement while we're in there.
Right, but that doesn't affect what wall is holding up this bank, because I mean, if it was a concrete block wall, would you tear it all down to fix the infrastructure? I guess that's kind of my angle.
That is my understanding, is that again, and then to replace it, and then to pack it, and to pave it, and put the rock wall back in, to be able to put the road, be able to hold up the road on that side as well. It's a pretty major project, I mean, it's gonna be $3+ million, it's a huge project, when you think about,
Well, it's massive. Yeah, but I guess, I just, the way that my mind thinks, I'm not understanding the answer to the question that I'm asking of, if it was a block rock wall that's going to be replacing the natural rock wall, would you know offhand if they would have to tear down the whole block rock wall to fix the infrastructure, like we're doing
That
here?
would certainly be my understanding.
Oh,
They need to widen the bottom street,
oh,
that's the whole issue. I looked at the drawings today.
okay, thanks.
That's the issue, so it doesn't matter what it is, it's gotta come down and get.
Okay. So is there any other questions? Did you want to speak I thought you figured.
No, she asked all the
Okay.
questions I was gonna ask, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so we're going to move on with the rest of the agenda. And the item number 4 is the adoption of the Governance and Operations Committee recommendations. And the first item on the agenda is 4.1, the Greater Trail Hospice Society's request for cash grant. And the recommendation is that council approve the city providing a cash grant to the Greater Trail Hospice Society for the Columbia View Lodge palliative care room upgrade, and the amount is for $5,000. Councilor Wilson and Councilor Benson. All those in favor? Thank you, carried unanimously. Item 4.2 is the United Way Trail and District request for cash grant and prize donation. And the recommendation is that the city approve, that council approve the city providing a cash grant to the United Way Trail and District in the amount of $1,000 towards the Storm this year fundraising event. Sorry? $200 each. Councilor Martin and Councilor Hanson, all those in favor? Sorry?
Can I, are we allowed to comment?
Oh, sure, yes, go ahead, sorry.
Just to note that Councillor Cashel and I will be storming these stairs, and if any
I would like to join
of
us.
you would like to join us.
So we're just.
May 4th.
Okay, so the recommendation is before you. Thank you, Councilor Wilson, Councilor Hanson, all those in favor? Thank you, carried unanimous. Item 4.3 is the J. Lloyd Crow Graduating Committee request for rental waiver. And the recommendation is that council approve the city providing a rental waiver of $2,030 to the J. Lloyd Crow Graduating Committee for their use of the Trail Memorial Center Gymnasium on February 10th, 2024, and the Dry Ride event on June 21st, 2024, and for their use of the Cominco Arena for the Memory Walk on June 30th, 2024. Counselor Hanson, Counselor Benson, all those in favor? Carried unanimously. The Pacific Coastal Airlines request for sponsorship. And the recommendation is that council approve the city providing a sponsorship to the Pacific Coastal Airlines charity golf tournament in the amount of $2,000. Counselor Hanson, Counselor Cashel, all those in favor? Carried. Thank you. 4.5 is the Sinai Confederacy request for cash grant. And the recommendation is that council approve the city providing a cash grant to the Sinai Confederacy in the amount of $500 towards the costs associated with the joint province of BC, Sinai Confederacy, and training being held April 26, 2024. Councilor Benson, Councilor Wilson, all those in favor? Carried, thank you. And the official community plan advisory committee, and the recommendation is that council adopt the official community plan advisory committee terms of reference as presented, and that council appoint Councilor Benson and Councilor Hanson as the council representatives to the committee. Councilor Wilson, Councilor Martin, second. All those in favor? Carried unanimously. Thank you. The next item that we have under communications, it is a request for a prize donation, but it is happening like quickly. So we put it in under this item, and the request is for a donation for their auction table. Councilor Hanson and Councilor Wilson.
My question is, who's asking for the donation?
I'm sorry.
Oh, the Trip Pipe, sorry.
Okay. Councilor Hanson was the seconder.
I think she first made the motion and I second, yeah.
And excuse me, through your worship, and what is the request for the prize donation? I believe we need to state what that is.
Okay.
I believe it was 2 gift certificates.
It's a standard donation.
To the Philip Price Center. Yes.
Make that motion.
In the amount of
$100 each?
200.
Yes.
certificates. Okay, thank you. So all those in favor of the two carried unanimously. Okay, we have the council committee reports, and we will start with Councilor Benson.
Thank you, your worship. For my committees, the Trail Ambassador Program, no more updates. They're busy prepping for their pageant, which will be held on May 10th, and all of the council is invited, and they'll work with Santi to get that organized. Leading into Silver City Days, 15 days until Silver City Days kicks off with Citizen of the Year. I'm excited to announce that we're hosting a Silver City Days dance on Saturday evening this year, a new event. We're hosting it with the Trail Smoke Eaters, and we'll be having 2 area bands play, the Carly Harrison Band and a band called Dinosaur Fight. Yep. Tickets are $15 in advance and $20 at the door, and they'll be on sale this week. Registration for our fun run is up on the city's website, so we invite you to all sign up. Everybody, you can wear costumes if you want. It's by donation, and the funds will be going to the sanctuary. We're also getting a lot of outreach about the parade, and our registration form is on the Silver City Days website as well. In terms of financials, I'm really proud to say that so far we have raised $22,500 in sponsorship money, with $9,000 of that for the grants. And 13,500 from local business sponsoring different events. So thanks to those that have so generously donated. I attended the Community Safety Task Force today, and Councillor Martin will report on that as well, but I can report that Chief Derby provided a written update for us today. He was unable to attend. And overall call volume for the firewall is down from last year for year to date, including overdoses, but there has been a spike by 60% of overdose calls in April, which the committee believes is due to some toxic drugs that have arrived in the area. And it's a concerning trend. As summer approaches, we're hoping to start planning on a summer cooling center, and we'll be reaching out to GM Butler to help us with this endeavor. And then other things that I attended that aren't a committee, I attended the Business After Business event at the Visek Gallery on April 11th. And I attended the Association of Kootenai Boundary Local Government Conference this past weekend in Radium. And today I attended the live history event at the Trail Riverfront Center where history came to life. There's one more day for this, so I highly recommend everyone checking it out tomorrow. That's my report.
Thank you, Councillor Batson. Councillor Cashel.
Thank you, Mayor Jones. Yeah, on April 9, I had a meeting with Keith and Dan Rodley with CIB, the working group, and we kind of finalized the terms of reference. That terms of reference report was submitted by email and also discussed at the April 11 CIB committee meeting that I attended. Following that meeting, I did circulate the terms of reference by email to Mayor and Council and Mr. McClure, seeking input if you have any, and also ultimately looking for that endorsement or that approval. And going forward, we will need a representative from the city to replace Mr. McIsaac. So I'll maybe calling on Mr. McClure to look into that and assign that replacement, whoever that would be, the appropriate party. And also, we really feel the need for tech to be at the committee table. This kind of all started 23 years ago with tech being a big player in it then, and we want to get them back on the table. So any suggestions, ideas, any avenues of contact with tech, who that right person would be, the committee would be greatly appreciative of that. It was suggested, perhaps, through Mayor Jones's contact, she could be the inviting party. But I think ultimately we just want to get somebody that's the right person from tech on that committee. So any help that you can give us with that would be much appreciated. On April 17, I attended the library board, and we welcomed our new member. We have two new members, but Diana Gonzalez was present and participated in that meeting. And we also had the occasion to face-to-face congratulate the library director, Samantha Murphy, for winning the 2024 Association of BC Public Libraries Director Award for Excellence.
Awesome.
And I know, right? It's amazing. And just a bit of a snippet from the narrative that accompanied that award. Her peers described her as being an innovator, a collaborator, a mentor, a thoughtful leader, and inspirational. So how cool is that? So we're so fortunate to have her on our team. So I just want to make a mention of that. I also had a chance on the 17th of April to, with all of council and mayor and some staff, to attend the Andy Bilisky Park. And we did a tour of that with the Trail Little League, getting ready for the 2026 provincials and the 2028 Canadian nationals that are coming here. So that's exciting stuff. It was fun to participate in that. And I think I'll leave it at that. Mayor Jones, that's my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Cashel. I just wanted to report to you that today at our Trail Health and Environment Committee pre-planning, I did speak to Michelle Laurie about having a representative from Communities in Bloom sit on either Communities in Bloom or you come to the Trail Health and Environment Committee. So just so that you know, you can take back to the Communities in Bloom, the Trail Health and Environment Committee meetings are public. But if you want somebody to sit at that table with myself and Councillor Hanson, then just let me know and I will follow up with that with Michelle, okay?
Okay, thank you, Mayor Jones.
Okay, Councillor Hanson.
Thank you, Mayor Jones. On April 9th, with yourself, we attended the supportive housing meeting with just a little small snippet of an update on the shelters. The RFPs just finally closed and they're now evaluating the proponents, and we should know more details hopefully later this week about who the successful proponent was, the timeline and the start date for construction. April 11th, attended the Planning Institute of BC's Peer Learning Network Provincial Housing Legislation Workshop in Nelson. Learned about the major shortage of planners as a whole in BC. Currently there's about 40 positions to be filled in the planning department right now. We will need to kind of work with them, of course, in embarking on our bylaw amendments that are required by the province. Also learned about some ideas that other communities are doing in regards to their bylaw amendments. On the 11th, I also attended the Downtown Toronto Improvement Committee meeting and found out that Community Futures was not the successful proponent of the grant funding for the crime prevention through environmental design study. However, they are still looking at an opportunity to work with a professor of criminology to still write a paper and work with them for the crime prevention study. So they're still working on investigating that. And then with all of yourselves, attended the Association of Kootenay Boundary Local Government Conference in Radium, and had some incredible opportunities to collaborate and grow relationships with other municipalities and visit with MLAs, Tom Shapika, Rolly Russell, Brittany Anderson, as well as had time to visit with the UBCM President Trish Mandale. And what? What?
Motion.
What do you mean? That'll be it for my report. Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you, Councillor Hanson. Councillor Martin.
Thank you, Mary Jones. On behalf of council, I attended the following meetings. On April 10th, RDKB board meeting via Teams. Had a presentation by Regional Fire Chief Dan Derby providing a summary of recommendations regarding the Premier's expert task force on emergencies. I shared this report with everyone. Chief Derby will be presenting an update to a future community safety task force meeting. The board also approved the annual Ready grant project submissions and funding. The board also approved the flag half masking policy to include the National Indigenous Veterans Day. And of note for everybody, the operational hours at the McKelvey Creek landfill will change starting June 1st. The current hours of operation are Monday to Friday from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Saturdays and Sundays, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. closed on statutory holidays. The new schedule will have it Monday to Sunday, 7 days a week, 8:30 to 4:30 p.m. and closed statutory holidays. On April 16th, I attended an RDKB East End Services Committee meeting via Teams. There's a delegation from Community Future South, and that was the same information that was provided to council. Excuse me. BC Transit Shelter update from James Chandler, Deputy CAO and GM of Operations for the RDKB. Metal and wood shelters are up for request for quotes and should have another update in May. Mr. Chandler also updated the committee on the city's agreeing to the one-year contract with the LCIC. April 17th, along with Mayor Jones and council, had the opportunity to tour the Little League facility, which Councillor Cashel has already commented on, so there's no need to follow up with that at this point with myself here. On April 18th, attended a Trail Historical Society meeting at the Trail Library. And the committee will be making a request for a delegation to attend an upcoming council meeting to discuss the old bridge and the possibility of having the city designated as a historical site. So we should get ready for that too. April 19th to the 21st, with Mayor Jones and council, attended the annual Association of Kootenay Boundary Local Government Conference in Radium, BC. Well-attended annual conference for Kootenay and Boundary elected officials. Today, April 22nd, along with Mayor Jones and Councillor Benson, we held a monthly Community Safety Task Force meeting. It was attended by 13 committee members. We'll be forming a subcommittee to report back to the task force and eventually council with information on establishing extreme weather cooling and warming centers when indicated. And there's something that's a concern that was brought to the Community Safety Task Force regarding multiple campfires that are being lit above Sunningdale. province is already experiencing a wildfire, or are already experiencing wildfire events because of the unattended campfires over this past weekend. I think we can agree that we do not want this to happen locally. The committee is bringing this concern to council and staff for support with this issue. Sergeant Wojciechowicz attended the meeting and is now aware of this concern. And when he's back in town, we will be updating Fire Chief Dan Derby. Feel free to contact me should you have any questions regarding any of these meetings.
Thank you, Councillor Martin. Councillor Wilson.
Thank you, Your Worship. On April the 17th, I also attended the Little League tour. It's a great tour, it's a great facility. Looking forward to the events they have coming up, and if anyone's looking to get their kids into Little League, I think it's a great advantage that we have in trail for those kids. And then this past weekend also attended the AKBLG conference and I want to give a public congratulations to Tia Hansen on her appointment. It's fantastic. And I'm looking forward to seeing what you're gonna do on that.
Thank you.
And that's my report, thank you.
I do have one comment that Councillor
Sure.
Wilson commented on the Little League. And the committee from the Little League folks who showed up to tours around the facility were so happy with council and Mr. McClure for the ending the TRP. It increased numbers of the Trail Little League, which they were just so happy about, and they look forward to working with us. Just kick that again. We're gonna get it fixed.
Okay, so on to my report, and once again, here we are, all doing the same things at the same time, and just a quick little report, totally enjoyed the Trail Little League tour. It's just amazing, I haven't been up there for years, and it's a beautiful little park. A lot of work has to be done, but I appreciate the opportunity of going up there. I attended the Bizet Gallery Business After Business, very interesting presentation, and actually a really good turnout. The title of the show, the art show, was Energy Future, and different art. And it's really made you think about, what is coming in the future. But it was such a subtle presentation, you really had to think about it. It was really quite interesting. I also wanted to congratulate Sam Murphy on the Library Director Award. That's absolutely amazing. She's done some really good work down there, so she is very deserving of the award, and I appreciate the work that's being done in the library and the museum. I also wanted to, thank council for coming to the Association of Kootenai Valley Local Government Convention. It was a very well attended convention, lots of great information was shared, we learned a lot, we did some good networking, and again, as Councillor Wilson said, I wanted to welcome Councillor Hansen to the Association of Kootenai Valley Local Government Board. And it's going to be an exciting year for you and a great opportunity. I have a little bit of information to share tonight. I'm very excited about it. And it is the Citizen of the Year Award, and it is going to a couple, and I know this couple, and again, very deserving of the award. And the award is being presented on Tuesday, May the 7th at St. Michael's School Gymnasium. And the award ceremony will commence at 7 o'clock. And I just want to announce that the award is going to Glenn and Debbie Wallace. A little bit of a resume here that I think that a council would appreciate hearing. And quickly, I'll just, pick some separate little pieces out, but for community contribution and accomplishments, individually as a couple, Glenn and Debbie Wallace have made a huge impact on our community, and they continue to be tireless volunteers, very interested in enhancing trail any way they can. And I totally agree with this. I've worked beside them. I know they're hardworking, very dedicated couple. They've done one-on-one reading at Webster School, elementary school. They have billeted for sports events, church events, and professionals. Debbie is a member of the Leroy Foundation, also an active member of the Trail United Church, and volunteers at the Smoke Eaters concession, and many more things, like very, very busy in our community. Glenn is a Community in Bloom volunteer, and he is also on the tag team, which is Trail Against Graffiti. He's a current member of the Cycling Without Age. He's on the Jason Bay Field Committee, the Salvation Army Thrift Store. He's a baseball umpire, and he does field maintenance at Butler Park. And the list is very long, as you can see. A very, very deserving couple, and I'm excited to be a part of the ceremony on May 7th. Councilor Wilson.
Can I just add one thing, because as being part of Sanctuary, Glenn Wallace is a huge help down there. Anything to do with computers, IT stuff, he just shows up and helps out, so it's incredible to have people like that within our community. He's even sorted out pumpkins, like he's
Yes,
been
that's
very
what it
involved, and
says.
yeah, so I just want
For Sanctuary, he does the bottle return fundraising.
he just, so very deserving of those guys, thank you.
Okay, so that is my report tonight.
Thank you.
I don't know if there's any other questions, and thanks again to council for being out there and being in our community, and really appreciate the work that you guys all do. So the next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. And there's 2 items on the consent agenda to be received for information. Councilor Hanson?
Can I please pull the tech letter, please? And I would just like to get a motion of support from council to write a letter of support to tech for the proposed electric vehicle battery recycling plant in Trail.
Okay. So, I'm sorry.
Your worship, that's fine to put that motion on the
Okay.
table. So I would suggest that we vote on that motion first and then go back to 7.1
Yeah,
to
okay.
receive for information.
So the motion is for a Tech Resources Limited letter of support from Councilor Hanson. Councilor Wilson seconded. All those in favor? Thank you. Carried. And the next item on the agenda was the Generation to Generation Society, and to receive your information, the 2023 financial statements. Councilor Martin and Councilor Wilson. All those in favor? Thank you. Is there any new business tonight? And item number 9 is adjournment. Councilor Wilson, Councilor Hanson, all those in favor? Thank you. Carried unanimously.